Hi guys, so we are here with the session one with you too. We're going to talk about context of digitization, how it was previously in the previous times, and now how it is. So I'm going to take you back to the presentation, make you understand slide by slide, and how we have transformed into a digital world, a complete digital world, and how we're completely dependent on the digitization and on the digital world. So let me make my video was null and complete it down and keep the mute on and share the video presentation with you. Right. So here we have right. That's the context of change. We are going to talk about the context of change, like digitizing our world, which has changed rapidly. Right. We have changed from books to ebooks. We have changed from DVDs to stream movies and television, from music CDs to MP3s, from road maps to GPS, on which we are really highly dependent. A person like me who travels a lot is always dependent on GPS to go around. From photos to Instagram and Flickr, from snail mail to email. I hope everybody knows what is a snail mail. If you want to know what is snail mail, you can just do the regular Google, get back to digitalization, search, right? And then from magazines to news and journals to online blogs. So today we exist in a multi-channel, multi-device world. As marketers, our society has changed more than in the last almost 2 years than in the previous 50. Right? Digitization could be the reason behind sweeping a large-scale transformation through various industry features, supplying unparalleled possibilities for both value capture and creation, in addition to being truly a way to obtain a significant danger, even though Uber, the world's largest taxi company, owns no vehicles, guys. It's only an app. They're earning millions and billions. Facebook, the world's most popular media owner, creates no content. They create a platform to the people to create content, right? Amazon, right? They don't sell anything. They create a platform to let the people come register on their platform and earn money from there, right? Alibaba, the most valuable retailer, has no inventory. And then comes the most popular one, Airbnb, the world's largest accommodation provider, owns no real estate. So it's all about digitization that has changed our world, right? So after now, we used to read Encyclopedia Britannica, which was very heavy weight, looked like a monster book to read. But now it has gone out of print because there was no demand, as it has no one was willing to buy such a heavy book for reference, right? Then, so now there's Encyclopedia app for iPhone and iPad, which provides over 80,000 articles, thousands of images, and an innovative link map feature that makes it a pleasure to browse this massive volume of content. The Encyclopedia Britannica, which has been in continuous print since it was first published in Edinburgh, Scotland in 1768, ended its publication of its printed editions and continued with digital versions available online for everybody. Right. The primary reason, let me just tell you, was financial losses in print editions, and digital format was giving them more profit. So they completely closed down the printed versions. Right. So here another one came to massive change called Amar Chitrakatha, launched in India by Mr. Anant in 1967. It is one of the most oldest and well-known comic book publishers in India, right? Then, with digitization and changing with times, ACK Comics, right? That app was launched in the App Store, Google Play, and Windows Store. It became so successful in universal downloads that ACK Comics started doing more ads on Google, which gave them a huge success. Something like this. It was there on Google as well. Imagine they were doing ads on the Google and they were earning money. That's amazing, right? So it's a long journey for the marketing industry from a traditional push to a consumer pull strategy, right? So The traditional push was reach and frequency persuasion, and then consumer motivation, context, experience, emotions, and moods. But the traditional push marketing strategy was an old method for companies and products like Glucose D, in which company was focused on reaching consumers regularly, like and making products available. They were not used to get feedback from consumers. But consumer pull is the us today. I'm talking about us, the real consumer who believes in giving feedback and not taking, if not taken seriously, will not come to the product as at all. Where we as a consumer drives the company's demand. Here, the consumer is the king, and if the consumer is not happy and satisfied, they will never, never use it. Right? Example: if iPhone does not upgrade its phone, you will definitely go for a better version of cell phones with a better camera, processor, and high battery backup like OnePlus 7 Pro. And of course, the upper versions have come now, right? So, uh, let us now understand what the traditional marketing is all about. Let me explain to you one by one. Right? Broadcast is like one-way communication push. In the old times, companies used to cater to the general public by giving products and services to fulfill their needs. There was no feedback being taken from them to improve the quality or anything else within the product or services industry. So it was just pushing the products and services to consumers without any feedback on consumption, happiness factor, and satisfaction into consideration, which ultimately came up as a one-way communication from companies. Example, like a morning announcement in school with messages being just delivered to perform, but no one is observing about the information being absorbed or not. I think that that was in our school time. We had a morning announcement, but it sometimes might be a failure as well as for school authorities. Message driven, right? Brand focus, features, and benefits. Here, the companies are only focusing on talking about brand itself, focusing more on features and its benefits, and don't bother about the front audience. Example, Nokia exclusively concentrates on its benefits and its usability and never focus on how the consumer is consuming the information, right? So that is how it is part of that. The didactic here, people, the company is bothered about the details and instructions functioning for the products and not focusing on other message content. For example, functions of a washing machine in an advertisement, they would just explain about the product details and give instruction for usage, right? And that is how they just explain and elaborate. Constraint, right? As there was no other advertising method in the old times, all the companies used to depend on the paper advertisement and television ads, which the companies never used to know on how the consumer feels the product. Okay, so let me come back to the again. It's about and now here the world has changed to complete transparency and engagement with the consumer, but everything is visible to everyone. Let us understand in detail to get into more details thing. Interactive here, man-to-many communication. Here the company has interacted with many customers all together to make them happy and satisfied through social media or other digital channels. They're trying to convince that we are better, even though they get one feedback, they try to implement and get the things done. So that the next part, whenever there is a customer coming back to them, he or she is a repetitive consumer for them, right? So here the consumer has the power to choose the provider. For example, a Facebook of the company has many users who complain and give feedback so that the procedure can be solved. Just imagine your complaint is being sorted out, the only small issue being raised on the social media. So that is how that's the power of a consumer, right? Interactive. Then comes consumer driven, right? Here, when the consumer is happy and satisfied, he or she will use the product only after watching lots of reviews online. Example, if you're looking for a new product online, you look out for reviews and then only purchase the product. Whether it's a matter of anything, Amazon, Flipkart, Nika, or whatever product you take it up. Then comes listening, follows the consumer needs. Many companies or the organizations fail in the market if there is no consumer demand in the market. Even if there is a need for the product, how often it is being consumed. These trends keep the product sustained in the market. For example, if there is no demand for burgers in the market, they won't be able to survive in the market for long. They have to shut down the company, right? Unconstrained, liberated from schedules and boundaries. In digital marketing, we cater any customer in the world. Example: if we have a manufacturing unit in say San Francisco and we get our products delivered in Spain, if there's a demand, and we are not at all restricted within our boundaries, we have full access to the world, and that is amazing about digital world. Power, right? Uh, Control and influence as with the consumer. Yes, in digital marketing, the control and influence in product demand is in the hands of the consumer, and you can't do anything for that. Right? If the consumer is not happy, the reviews would soon get flooded with negative reviews, and product would soon fail. You guys know that there was a guitar that was found broken and using United Airlines, and the company did not bother to even apologize. Soon the consumer took it to the Twitter. The company was flooded with negative reviews. They had to go through lots of losses with less booking in passenger airlines. Imagine just a tweet that can bog down the complete airline profits, right? Then comes content driven, right? So the more you think in alignment with the consumer needs and get the new content and get them on board with the blogs or videos, the more they come on your platform. It's a competition. It's a heavy competition. How will you get the consumer on your website or on your social media? It is content driven. It is actually. For example, Netflix or Amazon or Hotstar. Of course, Netflix have a better content, right? The more better content a streaming platform has it, then only people are willing to pay more. They are willing to pay 500 to Netflix per month rather than the okay average content on Amazon or Hotstar, right? Because Netflix is having a better content, right? Now let's talk about the purchase cycle is not linear anymore, right? The purchase cycle for consumer is just one channel in the digital world. It can be anything from web portals to SMS to websites to the podcast. It can be anything. The irony is that while there have never been more ways to consumers, to reach consumers, it has never been harder to connect with consumers, right? So that's it for the second module, right? We will go back to the third module now, and then that how we learn about more about the third module on the part of a digital world. And thank you for the with checking out the second module video. We're coming back with the module 3 of the session 1 first. Thank you so much.